I'd like to call the Thursday, July 26th Board of Education special meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Roll call.
Chairman Papa Holzer.
Here.
Vice Chair Anafrio.
Here.
Secretary Sienna.
Here.
Janet Balsamo. Here. Carolyn Candelora.
Here.
Vincent Mace.
Here.
Cynthia Rice.
Here.
We salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Visitors' comments? That was quick. Okay. I just want to make sure everybody's phones are shut off before we move on.
Yep.
Okay. No report from student representatives. Approval of previous minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 11th, 2018 Special Board of Education meeting as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 13th, 2018 Board of Education meeting as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 28th, 2018 Special Board of Education meeting as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Personnel? Resignations?
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of Ms. Barbara Tedeschi, music teacher at Totucket Valley Elementary School, effective June 28, 2018, after 15 years of dedicated service to the students of North Branford, with much gratitude.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Ms. Audrey Jankowitz, language arts teacher at North Branford Intermediate School, effective August 24th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointments? We can move that to executive session.
We'd like to move that to executive session as it involves personnel and contract language.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you. I would like to acknowledge Barbara Tedeschi for her dedication to the North Branford school system. She was a strong advocate for our music program and did a wonderful job. We wish her nothing but the best in her retirement. Audrey Jankowitz, who was a 4-year teacher with us, is relocating, and she's accepted a job closer to where she's going to be living in a middle school. So we wish her nothing but the best, and thank the two of them for their commitment to our children. Okay, moving along, I do have donations this evening that I would like to first read to you for our May 17th day where we lost power and we had a school day that we had to absorb and get back. Totucket Valley was closed due to the power outage, and we had the students transport to Norwalk Maritime Aquarium for the day. We were able to put this together and transport 500 students and staff members so that it would count as a school day. We did that with donations of $2,000 from Matt's Mission Fund and $1,600, $1,665 also donated for the trip. So there are two motions there from the Ed Foundation for $2,000 and the $1,665 for Matt's Mission. The other donation was from the PTO that went directly to DATCO bus service, so it never filtered through our system here. So there were the three total that totally covered the cost of the trip. So we want to thank the Ed Foundation for their generous donation. We want to thank Matt's Mission, and we want to thank the PTOs for making that happen.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a donation in the amount of $2,000 from the North Branford Education Foundation for a field trip for Totucket Valley Elementary School on May 17th, 2018 to the Norwalk Maritime Aquarium with grateful appreciation.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Yeah, no, second
all
motion.
right, I'd like to make a motion to approve a donation in the amount of $1,665 from Matt's Mission Fund for a field trip for Totucket Valley Elementary School on May 17th, 2018 to the Norwalk Maritime Aquarium with grateful appreciation.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Okay, thank you once again to those who donated. The next donation is from AT&T. It's a corporate contribution. I'm going to read the language that you have in front of you. I think it's important that everyone hears that. I first want to thank our state representative, Vincent Candelora, who brought this to our attention and notified us of this opportunity. Suzanne Wright is also here, who was our special ed director, who worked with Representative Candelora to make this happen and get this grant to us. I apologize, I do not know your name, either AT&T rep.
Yes, Kelly Bertucci.
Pronounce your last name?
Bertucci.
Bertucci.
Yes,
Okay.
not at the restaurant.
Thank you, Mr. Tucci, for being here this evening. And if you don't mind, traditionally we do a photo shoot in front, and then you can walk around. The board would like to acknowledge and thank you as well. Okay? Thank you. Okay, as it reads, the AT&T Foundation has awarded a $10,000 grant to the North Branford Public Schools to support high school students with disabilities to expand their skills in seeking out post-secondary education and training. Students will receive instruction in financial literacy, explore career opportunities, experience real-world job experience, and be encouraged to set future goals. Now, you're aware of our Bridges program that we have throughout the district, at the high school as well, and other NDHS students with disabilities will receive work experience to promote academic success. The Coffee Coop, which many of you are aware of, is a self-funded program at the high school. It's job-related skills that provide beverages and snacks to students, faculty, and staff. Students gain work experience through completing tasks in the workplace as well as completing managerial duties. Contribution will allow the coffee to expand opportunities to gain real life experiences in the school setting. In addition, students will visit a variety of job sites within their areas of interest, listen to speakers, and practice transition skills, including resume writing and interviewing. Visits to college programs paired with job sites will be provided to assist students in recognizing the range of job available within an identified area of interest. Assessments will identify gaps in instructions, and lessons will be developed to address student needs in these areas, as well as monitoring employment skills such as arriving at work on time, dressing appropriately, appropriate communication with supervisors, employee, and clients. We should have this for all kids.
I know.
Can we expand this grant opportunity?
Exactly.
Visits to post-secondary education and training programs will provide opportunities for students to experience campus life and identify available supports for students with disabilities. Students will attend a financial literacy seminar to learn more about salaries and developing a budget, culminating with a meeting with a financial counselor. So, in one breath, obviously we're aware of financial times and some of the economic burdens for us to be able to do this and afford many students this is obviously in part to this generous donation. So thank you to AT&T, Vincent, for bringing this forward to us. And without any further ado, we're going to have to do the famous walk of fame.
Should we make the motion first?
I was assuming.
What if they say no?
So I'm assuming this is a yes vote, but yes, let's make the motion.
I make the motion to approve the AT&T corporate contribution in the amount of $10,000 to be used to support high school students with disabilities with grateful appreciation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's amazing.
Now we can do the vote. I get that all the time, so and I pass this right on to my business manager.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. carefully.
We really appreciate it.
No, this is such a great program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And be careful.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was.
Obstacles.
Principal search, let's keep it going.
Okay, that will be under, okay, no, excuse me, that's
NBA.
So we have set dates, and we have in the process of getting resumes online up to our closing date, and we've earmarked the 13th and 14th of August for those interview dates. I did send an email out requesting a board member, if anyone is interested in serving on that. It would be the 2-day commitment. And obviously would have to be at all interviews. So if there's anyone, you don't have to answer right now, I'm gonna put you on the spot, but if you could let us know within the next week, that will help us to form the committee.
Between what hours again?
What, I'm sorry?
Between what hours?
Oh, 9 and 3. We usually would go between 9 and 3 like we did. We'll provide lunch on both days.
It's like a work day.
It's like a work day. Okay, all right. If you could turn to Exhibit D, the Town of North Branford 5-year plan. I'm sharing with you information about Town of North Branford 5-year plan for equipment and infrastructure, the administrative team, as well as the supervisor of operations will review needs as they relate to school facilities and grounds and provide this information to the town manager. So as you can see, there's a template there for projects, and we'll be going through and evaluating with Bill Chody, Fran Marola, and items that cost greater than $7,500. That's the threshold at which we have to go out to bid. We will draw a list and present that to the town council so they can start to project out. This is something that, should have been happening, on both sides for many years, and I know in the past, but we're talking about some major renovations potentially in our school system, so anything that we can bring to the attention of all community members regarding infrastructure and outdated buildings, I think will greatly assist us. So there's a couple of pages there. It's pretty simplistic with the needs assessment, the age and the life expectancy of whatever we're looking at, and then we will obviously keep a copy here at the Board of Ed office and send it down to Town Hall as well. Any questions on?
So will you bring the need assessments to the board meeting in August?
Well, when we audit all of the buildings and we start writing things down, we can bring them to a board meeting and you could look at them in operations before the board meeting so that you're aware of what our list looks like and what we're going to be sending. It would probably, I'm guessing, would be done September, October.
They were looking for this in a fairly tight.
I thought it said August.
What
That's
was
why I
it?
was asking.
Yeah, they want it by August 31st.
Oh, is that, okay, so forget September,
So I
October.
guess
So by August
the
31st,
August
That's
board
like-
meeting.
so
the September board meeting, we'll have it.
Can we have it beforehand?
Yeah,
Can
when
you-
we finish it.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
This
we'll
committee
send it.
started about 3 years ago, and it started because the town council, it seemed like budget time. All the departments came, and it's like, we need this, and we need this, and we're desperate for this, and we're desperate for that. And it wasn't really fair to them, in all fairness, just being at the last minute all the time. And it's not fair to the departments either, because then, we're having to weigh out between two really important things if they're only gonna give us one. So we kind of started this to meet with all the different departments and have a plan in place, and know what everybody needs. And I mean, a couple of them have submitted them already, because I'm on this committee, and a couple of them have submitted them already. And Bill Seward, for instance, and like fire trucks, and like this truck is from 1986, and it's not gonna last much longer, and just sort of giving the town, we're gonna compile all this information and give it to the council so that they can sort of plan instead of everything being an emergency when
So
it
do you put
happens.
New High School on this list?
You exceed 7,500.
That's one item.
Does exceed
I wasn't
So it's
even being
7,500.
wise, I was actually
New high
like
school.
being serious.
Well,
Yeah.
we've talked,
Well, it's
and
a very
that's
valid question,
Right,
because
you
if
put
you
up-
don't, if you don't put that on, then you have a whole other list
Right.
of things
Well,
that have
that's
to
what
be
I'm
done.
You
saying.
shouldn't
just
even, the high
encompass the
school
whole
should
thing.
be
It's
state-of-the-art, right.
And it's something that the committee has talked about from the start, was the police department and the school, and debt service was declining, so we were trying to think of renovations to the school and renovations to the police department and bonding it all together. So this is kind of where it's all stemming from, but needing to see, everybody that we met with, their biggest thing was we need more storage, there's just not enough storage. You know, which seems very minimal, but everybody's got a lot of, so much is being stored with Franny, and it was just really a mess. So we're trying to break it down and come up with a long-term plan, which will benefit the town. And I agree, the high school should probably be on here, because if the high school isn't on here, then there's gonna be 26 pages of things
No,
that
it's
need to...
one item, renovate his new high school.
Right.
Right.
Because everything would be listed, I think.
Right.
And we'll audit the other three buildings.
Right.
And it's gonna be big ticket items. It's gonna be heating systems, air conditioning, things like that. So,
Right.
Bill's not here tonight. Mr. Chody, I got a job for you, and we'll talk tomorrow. And we'll get it moving.
I'll be so
Real
excited.
Okay.
Oops, wrong glasses.
Okay, moving along, for goals for 18-19, I'm just gonna pass these. I'm not going to read 7 pages to you.
Scott, did you want to do this in executive session, or do you
No,
want to do it?
I think.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, no, I'm more comfortable because we've had discussions about these goals, so I want them to be
Yeah.
clearly defined, that we have talked about a number of these things. In order to save paper, we did two-sided, so if you open your, as soon as you have them. Top side, goal 1 under achievement. As you know, if you look over my shoulder, we have our 3 strands in our mission for achievement, climate, and facilities. So all of our goals that we establish as an administrative team, my goals will be a direct correlation to our mission statement and our plan. So if you look at achievement, under student achievement, the measurable 2% increase, and it will go through and list the iReady proficiency measures. We don't have the state comparative analysis back from SBAC yet. We'll have that. So we'll be looking at scores in September. So that identified goal for the elementary, middle school students is the 2% point increase. Underneath, it's the indicators and success and actions. Grade level proficiencies, our standardized test scores that we'll use, AP, advanced placement, access, and success, college acceptance rates, all of that data that we'll generate, but the one that I'm focusing on is that 2 percentage point increase on the SBAC for the lower grades. We're looking at the last bullet all the way down, the MBIS schedule. We've talked about that we want to continue to look at opportunities where we could share staff, meld the 2 buildings together so that we have more opportunities for our middle school, high school students. We have done a great job of hiring 712 certified teachers when we replace middle school, so those teachers are able to teach math, English, science, social studies at the high school because of their certification. We have very few traditional K-8 certifications now that are working at NBIS. So we're excited about that opportunity. We did form a committee. We've already met twice. We'll reestablish that committee and get to work on that when we start the school year.
Do you think you're going to pilot the new schedule in 2019, 2020?
That would be the goal.
That's the goal, okay.
Our goal is to finish it this year, because not knowing the economy moving forward with shared resources, it would be to finish it this year. You know that we are running the
Yep.
Spanish with 3 teachers coming over from the high school to run 8th grade, so we'll look to build upon that, okay?
Just one thing on the certifications, the 712 content teacher can actually teach down to grade 5 in a departmentalized building. So that 712 teacher covers all of NBIS as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. District-wide assessment system, similar to what we've been doing with data analysis, decision-making, everything based around data. Looking at that second page going down, still under increased achievement. If you look at the third bullet down, we want to evaluate that world language program at NBAS in our capstone program at the high school. You're familiar with the capstone. Many of you have witnessed and gone to see that. With the evaluation of the Spanish program, we'll look at end-of-year benchmarks and assessments, how many students are going to go on to Spanish 2 in their 9th grade year, how many students we retain going on. So we'll get all of that data back to you. It'll be 4 different teachers instructing 8th grade Spanish next year. Okay, because we're going to run them at the same time so that all of the kids will take Spanish at the same time. Okay? The Readers Writers Columbia Workshop, we are partnering with Columbia University. We're excited for a K-8 initiative for reading and writing. We're going to do a great deal of professional development this year in preparing our teachers and administrators for this. We're really excited about this. The Reader Writer Workshop now aligns with Common Core, and it's a great time to be coming into this program. So I'll keep you posted. We did speak about Project Lead the Way. We are looking to add computer science to the high school, and then there is a middle school computer science program as well. So we are looking to add an elective course for students at MBIS to be able to take the computer technology course that is in the curriculum for Project Lead the Way. So we have 2 math teachers right now that we're earmarking that could instruct. They are certified 712. We'll prep them this year and we'll get them ready for the following year to introduce those classes. Under Project Lead the Way, if students assess out, they can earn college credit, and our students have done very well in the engineering program at the high school. Flipping to page 4, we continue on with our Smart Start Pre-K classroom and the NIAC accreditation process. Obviously, we're going into year 2. We're looking to continue with adding a new group of incoming pre-K students to that. Social emotional learning opportunities, we're going to look at the NESDEC special ed report recommendations and start to focus on some of those things. Moving along down to page 5, 4th bullet down. Under communications, we're going to look to continue our Board of Ed Town Council communication meetings. We had a productive meeting, I think, last month when we met. We talked about the safety in the district, so we're going to look to continue with our, I think we were looking to meet 3 or 4 times per year with our communication committee. So we're going to look to continue that. We're going to continue with our parent forums, getting our Healthy Being Council together to talk about substance abuse, talk about social emotional issues with our young students, get parents actively involved. We did a couple forums last year on the opioid crisis and on social media. We're going to look to expand on that and continue to do that. Our climate surveys, where we get feedback from parents and staff on ways that we can improve, we'll continue to do all those things. At the bottom of the page, security updates. Without going into any detail about that, you know that we are looking to potentially increase our camera surveillance and the potential for another security personnel on our joint campus. You can read through page 6. There's not really anything that I'm going to spend any time on that page. It's maintenance and contracts, things we've talked about, cleanliness in the buildings. And then lastly, page 7, we started the tools for schools. We're going to look to continue that. We will continue with our team method of evaluating air quality in the buildings. That will continue. And under strategy 3-4, collaborate with stakeholders regarding initiating a renovate as new plan for the high school. That's a very big goal that we're undertaking right now, and we'll move through that. And then, as we spoke about, the walkway from the FRC annex to the rear of Jerome and the revision of the 5-year plan. We're also in the middle of our tech plan, so we'll be working on that throughout the year and getting that to completion as well. So that's...
Are we discussing this in executive session or questions here?
It's up to you. You can discuss it now, or you can... It's really something we could discuss in public.
Okay, yes, we can discuss it in public.
All right, so I'm assuming that this is kind of a top-down, this is what you hope to achieve, and everyone else's goals are going to...
will mirror our mission, so the
Right.
administrative, the SLOs, the learning objectives, their goals will mirror my expectations for growth and everything else. So everything will umbrella down throughout the district.
Okay. The other thing is, I know in the past we've had trouble, like, to quantify that there's been a success. I mean, so in the first one, you have the 2% point increase for the iReady, but then it's just possible indicators, increased grade level proficiencies. I mean, is it going to be like a 1 point? I just
So
want
we'll
something to
show-
quantify, like,
The benchmarks throughout the
Yeah.
year, so we'll show by grade, obviously not by student, but all of those results 3 times through the year, and then we'll have the end of the year SBAC score, which you'll get in September. So we'll have that assessment data. We'll have the SAT scores for the entire junior class, which we'll use. So then we'll look at those as for, increases above state level or not, and advanced placement, we'll use that as well. So those are the state scores or the test scores that we'll be using.
but do we have a
For the
goal
district.
for what we would like to see? Maybe it's a stretch.
Yeah, we
for you,
will.
but like we'd like to see 10 points for each grade level or something. Do we have that as a goal, or is it just going to be, oh, okay, we did better than last year? I would like to have,
You would like to have a firm measure.
yeah.
So what we'll do is when SBAC scores come in for the entire K-8, we'll take all of them, we look at them by teacher, by classroom, by subject. And we can now go back 5 years. So we can look not only at student growth, but group growth by grade. So then when I get the September result, I can come back to you and say, this is where we were for the 3 benchmarks, this was the final SBAC score. We then could look at and say, okay, let's look at a realistic number that's a smart goal. It has to be attainable. So,
Yes.
you're looking at sustainable, one that is attainable.
Yeah.
Timely, which is the year in which we do it. So we can do it in SMART goal format. I'll have that data in September.
And I think it would
Okay.
be, just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, I like the goals because we spoke to them about
Yeah.
them quite a bit. But if you could add, because it'll make it easier for evaluation, like it
Sure.
takes all of the guesswork out of it, just what the exact goal will be and how we're going to measurement and what success looks like, because then,
Sure. And what I
We
would
see it.
suggest, at a midpoint in the year, we
Yep.
revisit this.
Yes.
We come back.
and you bring the,
I'll give it to you. We're going to start in September with the last year standardized scores. And I'll have all the AP, I'll have all the SAT, all of that. But other things that I can come back to you in January and pick something. The walkway. Where are we at the walkway? I'll update you on the walkway. Where are we at with Project Lead the Way courses? So I'm
Exactly.
giving
So-
you updates not only at the end, but in January.
and you're
moving
putting,
forward.
maybe if you could just add to this, like what the goal is and how we'll know it's achieved, like how it's being measured.
Okay.
So that there's no guesswork, it's just hardcore.
If
Our
the walkway,
goal-
if the walkway is up and not leaking, it's a
Then we'll go,
change.
then,
Right,
then we
exactly.
win. Right, like,
So
but
we
it's a
can-
hard goal instead of a soft goal, I
Yeah,
think
we
those are
can-
easier to measure.
We can do
I
that.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
looking on page 4, you have strategy 1.5, to improve educator effectiveness, to improve achievement. That's what we all want, but possible indicators, review effectiveness. I mean, how is that going to be
Some of them
evaluated?
are, some of them are tough to measure, to quantify, because when you look at our educator evaluation plan and ways to measure, well, with professional development and how teachers are being rated per that state plan, well, there's a number of criteria that they have to achieve to be proficient or exemplary as educators.
Well,
So
what an exemplary educator, I'm assuming that means a teacher?
it's teacher.
Okay.
So we have
What
100, we have 169 teachers in North Branford. Exemplary teachers that are not either special ed or elective class teachers, PE, band, music. Just core teachers, I think we have 7 out of the 169 that are exemplary.
Well, how are we gonna measure them? Like, how do we measure their success? Is it through
So I can give you the
student
evaluation.
achievement? I
It's
mean,
a combination of things. It's student achievement, it's communication, I can give you our evaluation plan, so
Okay.
you have that, okay? I won't get into teachers' names and what they are, but I
That's
can
okay.
give you the breakout of how many are proficient, how many are exemplary, how many are needs
How they were
improvement.
scored,
Percentages.
yeah.
Yeah,
So and the hope
And-
would be if they're at proficient, say a certain number of proficient, that by all this, by expanding and doing all this,
Well,
that some, they'll move that.
as they
become
say,
a
it's
higher
tough to
group.
live in exemplary. It's very, very difficult to get into the exemplary. We only have, in grades K-8, I think we have 3. I think we have 3 exemplary teachers based upon the evaluation model, based upon, checking the box and using student information and data and all of the growth measures. I think we have 3.
Yeah, well, I think exemplary means hard to achieve.
It's
like,
very
you're
hard to
supposed-
achieve.
It's supposed to be a
It's-
difficult
that's why it's
achievement, right?
exemplary.
It's
But so the
supposed to be.
achievable thing would be whoever's needs help goes to proficient.
Proficient,
Right.
absolutely.
You don't want
And then we
anyone
see it
that's
move up
down
every
below.
year, like
Right.
that would be the goal that's,
And they
teachers
stay
are
there.
improving.
Right,
Right.
Because if our teachers improve, our students are going to improve, right?
That's the
the whole idea of
thought
this. I'm
process.
assuming.
it's all connected.
Okay. Alright. So yeah, just,
Okay.
for each line, as if you just give like an easy measure. The other thing we talked about a little bit, and I didn't see it in here, and I don't know if you're gonna do it next kind of goal cycle, is the tiered English class. We were talking about that a little bit.
Tiered English.
Like algebra. You know how in 8th grade, you pull
Oh,
kids up-
leveling.
Leveling, sorry. I'm using my
So-
words. I'm using my words.
It'll be something we'll discuss this year.
Okay.
We have talked about looking like an advanced placement. The middle school now, AP has dropped down, and they do offer like an advanced placement for core classes at the middle school level. And it's something that we have looked at.
Yeah.
It's got to be thoughtful for
Yeah.
staffing and doing it with all of the things scheduling. but-
So it might be better next goal
Well,
cycle.
probably the second, because we're going to bring the technology course in, we're bringing Spanish in full year.
Okay.
We'll take a year, but that's certainly something that if we want to look at for English, because, we obviously we're doing it in math. So if we can get to that point. Okay.
One more question, and this isn't
Okay.
your goal necessarily, but I don't know where it falls to be a goal, but the food service needs to be revisited on its successfulness. And it's not necessarily your goal, but since you're kind of over everything, I don't know how that
Well, we were
falls in.
gonna, when Michael was here, he presented.
Yeah.
There were some ideas that I know he walked out with
Mm-hmm.
trying to generate revenue after school and looking at the buildings that are having a difficult time. And, you get the battle of the wellness committee, who is formed to look at diet and what we're serving and the amount of exercise and play. And so a lot of times the wellness committee will come back to me and say, we got to get rid of the extras. We shouldn't be selling French fries. Kids should not be able to go up, but those are your profit maker. So I understand both arguments. We do very well at NBIS and at TVS with extras. The kids having the opportunity to buy what they want, that they like. I'm just being
No, they do.
very
And if they don't have them, they come home
upfront.
hungry. Yeah.
Right, so it's a balancing.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's a goal in place, because of course, it's like the kids' food, they're hungry, but also it's, we continue to operate in the red, which can't continue.
I think that would be more towards looking
So
at,
whose goal is that?
well, I think it's Michael's. And then it will be our goal for the economical feasibility. If we're not able to at least break even, what are our options? If we're not breaking even.
And I don't know if this fits in here, but we also talked with Michael about supplying extra meals, so when the kids that
Yeah,
that
after
eat at
school,
11, that maybe
Right.
they make it, the kids can purchase it and pick it up at the end of the day.
Right.
So that could increase.
Right, so
sales.
he walked out of here with ideas of, having the lunch crew make something refrigerated, the kids prepay, they grab it after school, they have it. We talked about the machines.
Vending machines.
Vending machines.
Yeah, I'm a
And-
huge fan of those.
Well, it depends what you put in it. So that,
Or yogurt one.
you'd have to, right, you'd have to be, in agreement with
I
what
mean, I've
goes
had
into
some
the
freshman
evaluation.
parents that have told me that they've actually done Uber Eats and had it delivered to the kids at the school because, you know, they stay after school and they practice with the freshmen and then they travel with the JV and varsity to a game.
Well, and the
and-
first lunch is 10:30.
Right, and, you know, I mean,
It's not
they've done
feasible.
Uber Eats. The kids are piling in other kids' cars
Yeah.
to go to Joey Cal's to get
I think
sandwiches.
that-
We're keeping business alive in North Branford.
We are, but we want to get
We're
the
helping.
business in our school, that's what.
I assure you, Michael heard your
Okay.
concerns.
But who's gonna follow up, because the school year is quickly approaching,
Right.
so
I
like, I
mean,
guess
a
that's my.
10:30 lunch is really
We'll follow up with
not
Michael.
realistic.
We will report back to you. And
And maybe he comes to the August board meeting, so he can tell us what his plan is to kick off the year.
when we let him get open first and bring him in September. Because
Because if he
we're,
doesn't have a plan, and then
well,
I say something like, you weren't planful or you didn't do anything, he's gonna be surprised. And now he has time if he's not moved on any of the ideas, so he's not shocked unless, of course, he's watching this.
I assure you he's not. But
That's what I'm saying.
I think he's got, what, you know, we'll do, I'll have a conversation
Okay.
with him. I'll share tonight's conversation, and then I'll give you information about what we discussed.
Okay.
Where he's at, what he's planning,
Yeah.
staffing levels, and anything that he thinks that is going to improve the situation moving forward.
So should we have him report back to us at maybe
Well,
like?
let me have, I can have a conversation with him tomorrow. I mean,
Right, no, but I'm just saying, like, in a few months, report back as to how, what
Yeah.
changes were made and if it's
Yeah.
improved the revenue from, you know, September of this year to September.
Let's give
September
him a
last year.
chance to at
Yeah,
least
right,
speak to what he's done or what he's gonna
Right.
do. And this,
Well, he's already working on a staffing plan. I mean,
Oh, good.
that's-
Okay,
that's- oh,
so
yeah.
he's
Oh,
moving
absolutely.
on it,
Oh, yeah.
that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know,
Okay, all
he's,
right.
I asked him a few weeks ago, and he's working on a staffing plan.
I think he understands the concern that the board had.
okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
And again, sorry, that wasn't really your goal, but I didn't know where to put it.
That would be
It's
nice
gonna end up there
if we
anyway.
knew before school started what he was thinking
Yeah.
of doing,
Right.
and then a
Yeah.
couple of months afterwards, come back and say, well,
Assess it.
I had to modify, this didn't work,
Right.
this is what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
And I have to say, you know, he has taken on new ideas and been open to new ideas. We tried to do the middle school breakfast program, and we purchased a kiosk, and we were doing slushy drinks or, you know, the
Smoothies.
protein drink smoothies
Smoothies.
and bagels and this and that, and it just didn't go. You know, kids were coming in, it worked for a little while, and then they weren't interested. You know, they're coming in with McDonald's and what the parents do on the way into school. They stop, it's quick, they go through.
I
and-
could really use that program, because breakfast time's really a crunch in my house.
Right. It's a convenience, and we thought it was gonna take off.
Yeah.
But
And the
many of our-
administration really worked
Pushed
to
it.
support it. I mean,
Yeah.
They pushed it,
Yeah.
so, to be continued.
Yes, okay.
All right, that is it for my part.
Do we have to do anything with them now, or that's
No.
it?
No.
Okay. Committee reports?
So in negotiations, if we can move that to executive session?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the budget and operations, we met, and Mr. Winnicky gave us, this is the wrong motion, hang on. He gave us a list of the line item transfers for the year ending 2017, 2018. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the list of 2017, 2018 year-end line item transfers as follows. $18,731.67 from benefits to salaries, $70,912.93 from benefits to utilities, $82,122.28 from benefits to operating reserve, $9,086.75 from grounds maintenance to operating reserve, $79,472.38 from supplies to operating reserve, and $130,375.58 from other purchases to operating reserve. And to clarify, that operating reserve is our 1% fund that the town allowed us to carry over to next year.
And then you created in June?
Right.
Second?
Discussion? I just want to make one comment. The reason why there are only 2, 4, 6 categories is because it's written that way in our policy, because I asked that question. So it's not broken out by line item for us, but if you sum the line items in the category, you'll see them add up. Correct? Can we have a roll call vote?
Absolutely. Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Janet Balsamo.
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora.
Yes.
Vincent Mace,
Yes.
Cynthia Rice.
Yes.
Before we move on, want me to give the rest of the report from the budget meeting?
Yeah.
And
Did Vince vote?
Yeah.
before Cynthia. Okay, and then in the rest of our meeting, we took care of that first, and then we got an update on summer work. The asbestos at the high school, asbestos abatement was cleared today by the industrial hygienist. Never heard that term before. They're working on the Stanley T. Williams playground back here. Thank you very much to Fran Marola for all of his work. Jerome Harrison, they're retiling in some rooms. They're working on the canopy between the preschool program and Jerome Harrison. They got one bid and it was a little bit over our budget, so we've been trying to work it down. The NBIS roof repairs are supposed to be done by August 1st. Jerome Harrison, the entryway is being revamped. Again, a big thank you to Fran Marola and crew. There's water pumps at Jerome Harrison that are being replaced or
Yeah,
worked on.
domestic water pumps.
Domestic water pumps. And a circulator pump at NBIS, and working on some lighting at NBIS. That was pretty much it for our meeting.
There was no curriculum meeting, no pension meeting. Beth, want to do policy?
In policy, we have some policies for second read and approval. The first one is P 1240, and that was presented, there was clarification we needed about how we would pay for vaccines after parents went through a bunch of doctors. So I'd like to submit that for approval, policy P 1240, immunization as submitted.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Janet Balsamo.
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora,
Yes.
Vincent Mace,
Yes.
Cynthia Rice.
Yes.
Okay, the second one is P 2400, prevention and report of child abuse. This was presented with an appendix where we joined, because we had the appendix in a different place, so it's together in the policy. So I'd like to motion to approve policy P 2400, prevention and report of child abuse as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Janet Balsamo, Carolyn Candelora,
Yes.
Vincent Mace,
Yes.
Cynthia Rice.
Yes.
Okay, next policy, P 2500, prevention and report of abuse of adults with intellectual abilities. Again, this was, is presented with the appendix statement. So I'd like to make a motion to approve policy P 2500, prevention and report of abuse of adults with intellectual disabilities as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Janet Balsamo,
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora,
Yes.
Vincent Mace,
Yes.
Cynthia Rice.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is P 4010, fundraising. This was presented with, without crowdfunding. That was what the discussion came out of, so,
So this actually is the existing policy that you would just be readopting.
Okay.
so I'd like to make a motion to approve policy P 4010, fundraising is submitted.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Janet Balsamo,
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora,
Yes.
Vincent Mace,
Yes.
Cynthia Rice.
Yes.
There was no ACES meeting. There was no building committee meeting. Communication?
We met with the town council regarding security issues in a joint session.
Okay, fantastic. Visitors and press, we're going to move the new business into executive session after we finish up here. No? Okay. Go to the board.
There haven't really been any functions. We're on a nice little break. Then I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session as per section 1-225 of the Connecticut General Statutes, as permitted by section 1-200(6)A and E of the Connecticut General Statute to discuss agenda items 7B, appointments, and XA, union negotiations.
Second.
She seconded.
I second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Elizabeth Parker as principal of Jerome Harrison Elementary School at a salary as stated in the administrator's contract.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Chairman Papaholzer?
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio?
Yes.
Secretary Sienna?
Yes.
Janet Balsamo?
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora?
Yes.
Vincent Mace?
Yes.
Cynthia Rice?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Is she up and walk the whole way?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Janet will be going to school soon, so. Watch all the cords.
I will see you in September. Good luck.
So, could you just please, because I was doing some of the years and explaining your education background, years in the district, some of the things that you've done with your education, moving forward.
Sure. So I'll be starting my 10th year in North Branford, just finished my 10th year, coming into 2011. I've been a school psychologist at Jerome Harrison. I've been a dean student and then the interim principal this year and now principal of Jerome Harrison. I graduated from Syracuse University. I went to, you from Syracuse?
I graduated from my undergrad
Oh,
from Syracuse.
wonderful. Yes, I graduated from Syracuse as undergrad and went to Lehigh University for school psychology. Sorry, I'm very excited. And I went to NYU for my educational leadership degree.
I went to NYU as well.
So good stock, is that what you're going to say? She's good stock.
Fellow alums.
And
Family of educators.
yes, my mother was director of special education and a principal in Easton. My father is board ed chair in Easton. So my sister went corporate, but there's one in every family.
Always lose one.
So, but I'm truly honored and I can't thank you enough.
Congratulations.
The next
Motion to adjourn?
The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 16th. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do the gavel.